Hey up, Angus the singing driving instructor here again. Right, this briefing is on emerging right. There is a short briefing on sort of the preparation for emerging right, emerging left and emerging right, which I've done already. Hopefully you recognise it. That's kind of what it looked like where I talked about the zone of visions and the type of junction. So if you've not looked at that one, you probably need to look at that one before you then look at this one. Okay. Right, so this briefing is suitable for you if you have got this lesson coming up, or maybe we've just done it and you're recapping. Now, emerging right, we're going to apply the MSM routine, so the Mirrors Signal Manoeuvre routine, and we are looking to emerge safely, taking effective observations without becoming a hazard. In other words, we don't want to cause anyone else to change their position or their speed. So the T junction we're going to come out of, so this is emerging, so it's when you're going from a minor road into a major road, so that's the major and this is the minor road, and we'll make it a let's make it a fully marked giveaway this time, shall we? So we've got the giveaway line there with the hazards coming down and the dashes there, and we'll have the triangle on the floor, and let's push the boat out and have a red warning sign with giveaway written on it in very tiny writing like that. And we'll have a zone of, so the type of junction is a fully marked giveaway, and the zone of vision is relatively closed as you're coming in. I think what we'll do is we'll stick a parked car there as well, because that will sort of represent the kind of thing that does happen when you're coming into this kind of situation. So we're going to have centre line and becomes a hazard line as you go past the junction. So what you've got there, if you like, is it's a centre line when the line is smaller than the gap, but it's a hazard line when the gap is smaller than the line. Okay, if you think about it from maybe going off at tangent here, but I will anyway. If you're coming along in fog and you can't see, but you know you want to turn left somewhere, you can be monitoring. So you can't see particularly far, but you can see the line. You can monitor when you're getting near a hazard, which possibly will be your junction, by looking at the line, recognising it. Okay, so emerging right and applying the Mirrors Signal Manoeuvre routine, and the manoeuvre being in the correct position, travelling at the correct speed and in the correct gear, but also looking and assessing at what you can see on the approach. Okay, so we're coming along road and we're looking down road, identify the type of junction it is, looking at the zone of vision as you come in, and we're going to turn right. So it's a junction, we signal at 99% of junctions, main mirror, right hand door mirror. I said signal then, didn't I? Mirrors first, main mirror, right hand door mirror, for the position and speed of vehicles around and behind you. You're then going to signal right. Okay. Now let's just talk about things that can happen on the approach, especially if you've got a parked car quite close to the junction, because what you're going to have to do is change your position as you go around this parked car, but we don't know what's going on in major road, so somebody could just turn in. So you've got to sort of recognise when you're committed to going past that car and keeping going as somebody turns in, or recognising when it's appropriate for you to wait. Now, I do a separate briefing on meeting other vehicles, and I talk about that specific scenario, so I'll go into that in more depth. But effectively, you just need to recognise that that car's there and send your think bubbles around the corner, if you like, to imagine that something might be about to turn in when you've got this situation causing you a problem. Okay, just be ready to hold back, or ready to recognise that you're already committed. If you think about it from the point of view of somebody coming in, as they sort of get to that position, they can see the parked car. So in theory, they're looking past it and they're off, ready for it anyway. So sort of the mutualness of you being ready and them being ready kind of deals with the situation in most situations. So main mirror, right hand door mirror, we're signalling right, we're thinking about our position as we come in. When we're turning right, we want to be just to the left of the hazard line as we're coming in, and at the giveaway line. Okay, so that's our positioning as we're coming in. Now, if you're coming right out of a one-way street, so you might have a road that is a one-way street. So as you came into it, in theory, it will be marked with two one-way signs, which are the blue rectangular signs, vertical rectangles, with a white arrow on them telling you that it's a one-way street. Now, if you're turning right from the end of a one-way street, your positioning will be over on the right-hand side. Yeah. If you're turning right from the end of a very narrow road, here we've got plenty of space, haven't we? And there's space for people coming in. But if you've got a really, really narrow road that you're turning right out of, so not much wider than car, you're going to have to turn right from what would probably, all intents and purposes, be the left-hand position. Yeah. So even though you're turning right, you're in the same position as if you were turning left. So you've got to recognise that, because if somebody's coming in, they want that space. You wouldn't sort of move out towards the to the centre on a narrow road, because you're kind of already in that position anyway. Okay, good. So we've got to the line. Now your observations are starting on the approach, because your view is kind of improving if we're here, isn't it? And then you can see further down that road. So you need to be sort of looking for things that are developing. As usual, you might get parked cars opposite the junction, which are throwing people out towards the mouth of your junction. You might get pedestrians knocking around about to cross the road here or cross the road here, so you need to bear all that in mind. Anything in this new road has got priority over you, because you're giving way. Yeah. Now, when you are sat observing what's going on, what you're trying to do is fit across this traffic flow, but fit in with the traffic flow coming this way. Yeah, so that's the sort of scenario on that side of the road, not that. Yeah, and you're looking to fit across here without causing anyone to slow down or brake or whatever as they're coming in. So it's something that comes with judgment. You get used to observing how far away traffic is and whether you're going to be able to get across or not. But you need to take effective observations in both directions. Yeah. And it is something that you do get used to doing. You need to be able to control the car properly and you need to be able to observe properly and mash the two together, and it does come with practice. Now, as I've said with the emerging left briefing, which hopefully you've watched as well, when you've got vehicles coming along that are, their indicators look allegedly turning right, you've got to make sure that they definitely are turning right, and that you can see past them for vehicles overtaking. Yeah. It's good practice to never pull out in front of somebody signalling left, even if you know they're turning left. Yeah. If you remove, as I've said in previous in the emerging left, if you remove yourself from that equation by never doing it, then you're never going to have that particularly nasty accident. I'm not going to go on and on about it here, because I did it in the emerging left one, so check that one out. It's very, very similar, although it can be even more dangerous because of overtaking traffic. Yeah. Now, just moving slightly into a little bit more of an in-depth scenario. There's a particular accident that can happen, which I just want to talk about. Let's imagine that this emerge right we're doing here is on say a national speed limit road. So we've got maybe a 60 limit coming along here. If you live near where I live, then let's pretend it's the A15, but that's a national speed limit road. So you might be coming out of this road here, and you're looking down road and you can see that there's a car way off in distance, and you're thinking to yourself, well, he's far enough away, I've got loads of time to go. And you look to your way off up to the left, and there's a car here which you're thinking, well, he's out of shot to you, obviously. but he's way up on left, sort of double this distance away, if you like. And you're thinking to yourself, well, I've got time here and I've got time here, right? Now, the danger which you need to look for is that this car here is looking down the road and he's looking at this car coming the other way, thinking that's a big enough gap for me to overtake. So if we fast forward a little bit, if you're going to go in that situation, you need to be mindful of the traffic it's overtaking. If you think it might overtake, then just hang back and let it come past. Effective observations. Because what you could have, if we fast forward time, is this car here, who's still probably a safe way away from the distance, and you've pulled out like that, but in the meantime, the red car went into an overtaking manoeuvre and he's now rushing to get past, but he's on your side of the road coming straight at you. You know, so there's a bit of an argument about, well, you shouldn't be overtaking on the approach to a junction. You know, in theory, he's going to have a warning sign telling him that he shouldn't be, warning him the sign, and he shouldn't be overtaking on the approach to a junction. But people do it. So, you know, extract yourself from that equation by making sure that you're taking effective observations down the road here. It's a nightmare, that, and it is quite a common type of accident that happens. Okay, so key points: we're applying the MSM routine. You're looking at the type of junction on the approach and the zone of vision as you come in, remembering that you're taking effective observations. You're not just about turning your head and look and pretending to look or whatever, not that you do that, but effective observations. Good look down the road, looking for stuff overtaking, recognising parked cars on the other way, on the other side of the road, and people coming down your side, looking for pedestrians and things, and then just getting used to reading the situation and getting on with it in the new road. I'm now going to cut this into a video of me sort of demonstrating this. Yeah, so I'll see you in a sec.
So let's talk about the zone of vision a little bit when we do this next one. I'm just mindful of this pedestrian here, same pedestrian. So it's quite a closed zone of vision, this one. Main mirror right, double mirror, signal right. So the zone of vision, I can't necessarily see that well out of it, but it's also awkward for people coming in as well. So it's a semi-marked junction, and it widens out as you get there. Obviously, your junctions usually do, but it is quite a closed zone of vision. There's traffic coming from the left. Indicator back on. And there we go. So the information as you drive into a T-junction, you've got to be looking at A, the zone of vision, but B, what the road markings are to sort of equip you with it as well. You know, I'm not doing any stop junctions at the moment, but that is usually where it's a busier road, and the zone of vision is particularly bad. Here the braking, clutch down into first. So this is a semi-marked give way. Zone of vision's alright once you're at it, but those parked car, van on left is causing a bit of a problem with it, really. Main mirror down to the end of the road, and I'm going to turn right. So, main mirror, right hand door mirror, and I'm going to signal right, and I'm half expecting something to turn in. It could be quite tricky, this, if something does turn in. My signal cancelled itself then because of the way the steering went, so I just had to monitor that. To get to the junction, bit of braking, clutch all the way down and pop it into first gear. Effective observations, I can see there's nothing there. I do know there's a car behind me though, because I saw it when I checked my mirrors. Main mirror in the new road to see whether that car's followed my aunt, he's gone the other way or she's gone the other way. So, follow the road along, there's a sharp bend round to the right and then a T-junction. So I'm just going to hang on to second gear for the moment. Okay, so Mirrors Signal Manoeuvre as I come around the bend. Main mirror, right hand door mirror, signal, parked cars just before it, so I'm half expecting something to come in which case I'd have to brake, pull the clutch down, but that's to do controlling the speed as you come in allows you to sort of expect that. Mirror signal gone off again. Bit of braking, clutch down and into first gear, and I can see there's loads and loads of traffic coming, so I think I'm going to see the handbrake on it. There's also there's a group of pedestrians on the right hand side, workmen, sort of blocking the view a little bit. So I'm taking effective observations left, effective observations right, and I'm having to keep checking. I've also had another look behind me just to see what's going on, watching for cyclists possibly coming down my left. There's loads of traffic coming. 20 to 2, it's not rush hour yet. Still loads of traffic, and there's guys blocking the view to the right of it as well. There's a car waiting to come out of the junction here, down to my left on the other side of the road. So I think I'm going to be able to nudge a little bit, see past these pedestrians, and I've got time, so there we go. So you've got to be efficient and effective with your control of the car. Main mirror in the new road, just to see what happens. End of the road, I'm going to turn right, main mirror, right hand door mirror, signal right. Now hopefully somebody's going to come into this road so I can either nip into this gap or they might wait for me if they turn in, but they haven't done. So this signal possibly will cancel itself as I straighten the wheel again. It has done, you see. You've got to recognise when that happens, so you've got to put that back on. Into first gear, effective observations. And then main mirror in the new road, second gear. Okay, so this is where we've got the there's a sharp bend round to the right where that car ahead of us is just going round, and then there's a couple of vans on the left, a van and a car, and then we're going to emerge right again. So I'm going to keep well to the left. Couple of pedestrians, but they're staying where they are. There's just one van parked there. Main mirror, right door mirror, signal right. Half expecting someone to turn in. It's gone off again. Bit of braking, clutch all the way down. The signal's gone off again because of the way you do with steering. Now there's another car coming from my left. And there's a van from the right, but I've got plenty of time. Ever so gentle with clutch, bit of gas.